नमामि गौतमम्। मारवाड़ी महाविद्यालय दरभंगा के संस्कृत विभाग के अध्यक्ष आचार्य अनुरुद्ध सिंह जी, इस परिचर्चा के आयोजक में मुख्य भूमिका निर्वाह करने वाले डॉक्टर विकास सिंह जी, हमारे परम प्रिय प्राचीन परिचित उज्ज्वल जी तथा अन्य सम्मिलित होने वाले सभी सज्जन आचार्य एवं अंत्यवासीगण। निवेदन है कि वृद्धावस्था श्वास संबंधी कष्ट से बहुत लंबा भाषण दे पाना कठिन है, इसलिए सीमित अपने को रख सकूं। बहुत है कोरिलेशन, इंटर रिलेशन ऑफ पाली एंड संस्कृत बड़ा लंबा चौड़ा व्यापक विषय है और विद्वत्तापूर्ण इस पर अनेक अनुसंधान शोध हुए हैं। किसी अंतिम निष्कर्ष पर पहुंचना शायद कभी संभव न हो, भिन्न भिन्न विचार दिए गए हैं। तो अच्छा रहेगा कि मैंने अपने को सीमित chapter section, there will be an attempt to discuss clear impact of Sanskrit writings on Pali writings of later times of Sri Lanka in general and those written on secular subjects in particular which were not touched earlier in the history of Pali literature, like grammar, prosody, and Alankar, Shastra, etc. At the very beginning, it is essential to point out that both Pali and Sanskrit are three languages of ancient India and philologically, both belong to Indo-Aryan family of languages. Sanskrit representing the old Indo-Aryan stage and Pali the middle Indo-Aryan. Thus linguistically, both are sister languages of the same Indo-Aryan family. There is still differences of opinion regarding the exact nature of their interaction or relationship. For example, according to Professor Geiger, Pali cannot be directly derived from Sanskrit, and it is an archaic practice containing the linguistical characteristics of Middle Indo-Aryan language. This is one view. On the other hand, there are some opinions of scholars suggesting that Pali language preserved in the canonical and post-canonical literature is an artificial literary language containing linguistical features of different ancient Indian dialects and brought very close to Sanskrit by the monks of Sri Lanka. This is not my view, but scholars like Professor Malal Sekar of Sri Lanka clearly said that Pali had probably ceased to be a spoken language by the time it was introduced in Ceylon. In fact, among the Prakrit, Pali appears to be the closest to Sanskrit both phonologically as well as morphologically. Professor Geiger has marked 4 stages of development of Pali language and has shown that in the first stage, Pali language used many 70% Old Indo-Aryan word forms and vocabulary. The language of the old verses of Sutta Nipat represents the first stage. It contains many Vedic verbal forms such as charamase, side by side with charam. This charamase is actually present in this first person plural. Besides the Sanskrit regular form charam, charama in Kleist Sanskrit. But we have charamase, charamahe in Vedic also. We also see several nominal forms such as pachayase, this nominative plural of pachay. Regular form should be pachaya, pachayo, pachaya. But we see such forms like pachayase, dhammase, buddhase. These word forms clearly confirm the clear impact of Vedic Sanskrit on the language of the ancient Pali Gathas. Similarly, frequent use of words like kuti in Sutnipat, kuti in the place of vihara or arama which are later actually. Muni in the place of Bhikkhu, Astama and Gini in the place of Aggi are the glaring examples of the impact of Vedic Sanskrit on the Pali language of the first stage. Now, the language of the Pali Nikayas, the Digha Nikaya, Madhyam Nikaya, etc., and Vinaya Khandakas, representing the second stage of the Pali language as well as the language of the third stage, does not contain as many word forms and vocabulary as those which are used in the first stage. Yet, there are many examples in the Pali language of these stages which indicate that in spite of being Middle Indo-Aryan language, Pali, unlike other Prakrit, preserved several phonological and morphological features of Sanskrit language. I do not discuss all in detail, but some of the traces of this tendency may be shown in the form of following examples. Following point A. There are no verbal forms of Atmanupad, Atmanipad and Parokha Vibhatti, Parokshal in any Indo-Aryan Prakrit, Middle Indo-Aryan Prakrit. However, Pali preserves some of them. Number 2, there are no consonant ending declensions in any language of the Middle Indo-Aryan stages including Pali. However, in Pali language, the nouns such as Raj or Sanskrit Rajan, Brahma or Sanskrit Brahman, At or Sanskrit Atman, etc., and Yuv or Yuvan, etc., has independent declension like Sanskrit. That shows the clear impact of Sanskrit on the morphology of Pali language. C. There are no ending, no re-ending, of Rishi vowel. There are no re-ending nouns in any Middle Indo-Aryan language including Pali. However, in Pali, these re-ending nouns of Sanskrit had been converted to u-ending nouns like pitu or Sanskrit pitri, bhatu or Sanskrit bhratri, etc. However, in Pali, they do not decline like bhikkhu and have independent declension. The nouns such as pitu, bhatu, and matu, etc., have independent declension like Sanskrit. Pali also preserves many verbal forms of Sanskrit. For example, it preserves aha, karoti, and bhavati. In no other practice you will see karoti like Sanskrit, which are seen as aha, kaleti, and hoti in a spoken inscription. Similarly, preserving intervocalic consonants like Upadhyaya or Upadhyaya, Pali Upadhyaya. So this pi is maintained here. It clearly indicates that in many morphological matters and some phonological matters, Pali language stands very close to Sanskrit, then closer to Sanskrit, then Prakrit and other Prakrits. In the second and third stages of the development, while examining the amount of the impact of Sanskrit language and Sanskrit composition on the later Pali writing of Sri Lanka, it is essential to note that impact of Sanskrit on the later Pali writing of Sri Lanka is twofold. Number one, Sanskrit has influenced the style, vocabulary, and syntax of many Pali writings of Sri Lanka. And number two, it has paved the way for the creation of the Pali writing on such secular subjects, which was a new trend in the history of Pali writing. It is a well-known fact that in spite of being vehicle of sublime human values and a reflection of some of the finest pieces of literary value, Pali literature remains incomplete in itself as it does not include many areas of secular interest such as those on grammar, philosophy of grammar, lexicon, prosody, poetic and poetic composition. Whatever may be the reason, however, after the composition of early Pali chronicle, there comes a period in the history of Pali literature of Sri Lanka which is noted for the writings on grammar, prosody, poetic, etc., and also for beautiful poetic creative writing in the form of Janalankar, Dincharit, Madhyamadhu, etc., etc. Although these Pali writings lack in originality and, and are either based on or are mere imitation of later Sanskrit writings of India, still these later Pali writings do help the Pali literature to become a complete literature in itself to some extent. These writings are also the best evidences to prove strong cultural interaction between Sri Lanka and India for centuries. It is also a well-known fact that oral tradition of Pali was introduced in Ceylon during the reign of Devanampi Tissa and was further developed during many centuries. Pali language reached heights of its development with Buddhaghosa, Buddhadatta and Dhammapala and remained cultivated literary language for about 3 centuries. This cultivation of Pali dwindled with Tamil incursion and general disorder in Ceylon. Because of the migration of large number of Tamils from South India to Ceylon, greater attention was paid for the study of Sanskrit even in early period, and several Pali writings composed before 10th century also exhibit clear impact of Sanskrit on their style and vocabulary. Mahabodhivansh and Telkatagata are the best examples of early Sanskritization of Ceylonese Pali text. Among these, the Mahabodhivansh written in the last quarter of the 10th century by a Ceylonese monk named Upatissa marks the beginning of the period of Sanskritized Pali in Ceylon. There are distinct traces of the influences of Sanskrit on the Pali language in the book. Sometimes Pali words are used in their Sanskrit sense, and sometimes we see the use of such Sanskrit words which are not found at all in the old Pali literature. Some of the examples I don't think because it is so much in detail. Some for the two examples. One line in Mahabodhipan. Udite bhavan se kare, bhuvan se kare. This bhuvan se kar word is not seen in the canonical Pali language. Bhuvan is purely added due to the impact of Sanskrit. Now second is Parapat Charan Patal Rage. This Parapat Paravat. It is clear that the style of this work is different from earlier Sinhalese Pali writing. The style is artificial and the whole tone and manner of this book or this work betrays the beginning of a tendency to use a kind of Sanskritized Pali. Second book is Tel Kataya Gatha. So Tel Kataya Gatha is the best example of this type of Pali literary writing. Style of the poem clearly shows that it was written by a man who also knew Sanskrit quite well. Only such a man would have constructed in the elaborate and beautiful meter of the poem. Yet, the Pali is not overladen here with Sanskritization, which shows that the work is earlier than the 12th century. After 12th century AD, there comes a period in the history of Pali literature of Sri Lanka, just after the Renaissance period, when Pali language became contaminated by the influence of the later Sanskrit writing and lost its pristine purity of diction and simplicity. The works like Dathaban and Jinalankar are the best examples of Sanskritization of Pali writing of later period. Although quality of Pali literature is maintained in Dathaban, a Ceylonese writing of 13th century, however, clear impact of Sanskrit may be seen here. The author has really governed many Sanskrit words to enrich his expression and literary beauty. For instance, we see use of pure Sanskrit words here, such as Antaral. Antaral is not a canonical word. Avadat. Odat is available, but Avadat is added here, or Pali Odat. Amod, Bhupati, Dhaval, Bhuvan, Saroru or lotus, and Ambud, etc., which are not used in the Pali writings of canonical period. The author has also adopted many poetic expressions of Sanskrit poetry, confirming clear impact of Sanskrit language on the Pali writing. Pali poetic compositions of Sri Lanka also had strong impact of Alankrita Kavya, Sanskrit Kavya, ornamented, which is called Chitra Kavya also. That means ornamented Sanskrit poetry of later period containing high-flown metaphors and ornately elaborated descriptions. In Jinalankar of Elder Buddharakshit, we see clear traces of artificiality in construction with such poetic devices as internal rim and etc. For instance, we see artificiality of mere decoration of sound in the following verse of Jinalankar. This is very clear impact actually of Sanskrit kavyas like Kiratarjini, etc. The verse only one na is there. Katha is like this. No, naninno, nananani, nane, nani, nanani, no. Nuna, nenani, nunanna, nanan, nan, nanen, so. No. It is clearly an imitation of the following Sanskrit verse of Kiratarjuniyam. In Kiratarjuniyam, this verse comes. Nano, nunno, nunno, no. Nana, 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 nanu. Nunnu, nunnu, nanunneno. Nane, nanunne, nunnavar. So this is very clear imitation of the Alankrit or Chitra Kavya of Kiratarjuniyam. Actually these are not Uttam Kavya. In Sanskrit Alankar Shastra like Dhanyalok, etc. This is called a type of poetry which has no charm of suggested element, Vyangyar, and is regarded as Adham Kavya, lowest poetry, and is called Chitra Kavya, picture poetry, or Adham Kavya. Similarly, Pajyamadhu of Buddha Piyathir is a beautiful poetic composition of Sanskritized Pali composed in ornate language. There are similar Pali compositions of the Sanskritized Pali composed in similar compositions of Sri Lanka, which are glaring examples of the linguistic interaction between Sanskrit and Pali or between India and Ceylon. This is one type of impact of Sanskrit. Another type, many writings on new subjects also is a clear example of the impact of Sanskrit on Pali. So the reign of King Parakramabahu is regarded as the golden period of literary writing on secular subjects in Pali language. As a result of a deep interest in the study of Sanskrit, more attention began to be given on secular subjects like prosody, poetic, grammar, lexicography, poetic composition, etc. Hitherto, nothing was written on these secular subjects. Pali and Sinhalese works like Subodhalankar, Uttodaya, Abhidhana Padipika, Balavatar, and the above Nakar were composed on the imitation of earlier Sanskrit works. These works openly admit that they are being composed on the imitation of earlier Sanskrit works and do not propound any original conception of the subject concerned. The author of Subodhalankar says, Ram Sammadhyalankara Santi Santo Puratana Tathapitu Balanyanti Suddhamagadika Nate. In another work entitled the Buddhodaya, the only work on Pali prosody, the author himself clearly admits that he has composed this work on prosody on the basis of the earlier work on the subject composed by ancient teacher Pingal. Most of modern scholars making a comparative study of the contents of the works of Venerable Sangharakshita Thera have expressed the view that the subject matter of Subodhalankar is mere an imitation of the contents of the Kavyadhars of Acharya Dandi. However, according to some scholars, there are no solid grounds for expressing such a view. These scholars have propounded that the structure of the Pushpabodha Alankar is not built purely on the materials of the Kavyadhars, and learned author has arranged the material obtained from the earlier authors with the originality in his approach and with poetic genius. If one goes to the contents of all the 5 chapters of Subodha Lankar, it becomes amply clear that there is a clear impact of the works of Sanskrit poetry on the treatment of the following points discussed in the Subodha Lankar. Number 1, the salutation of goddess of learning, Saraswati, is clearly a Pali rendering of the salutation verse of Kavyadhars of Dandi. Number 2, there are also clear evidences of the impact of the work of Sanskrit poetry on treatment of following topics. A. Definition of Kavya, Kavya Lakshana, purpose of the composing a poetry, Kavya Prayojan, classification of poetic composition, Kavya Prabhed or Ved. Now, in conclusion, it may be said that although Sanskrit was not adopted as a medium of Buddha's teaching or literary sources of early Buddhist writing, canonical literature, however, it always had a strong impact on all literary sources of Indian Buddhism, right from the beginning of the composition of early Pali Gathas collected in the Sutta Nipata up to the composition of modern Pali literature in the form of Niti literature or didactic Pali poetry. Sanskrit always influenced vocabulary as well as the syntax of the Pali language in each and every step of its development. Pali should be indebted to the Sanskrit language for making it rich in the matter of expression as well as in the widening of the area of its subject matter. As for this is actually the impact of Sanskrit, but then we should also try. I have not yet done it. Ujjwalji is doing that. The impact of Pali on Sanskrit also. That portion also is important to be discussed. So I have just discussed this much. Thank you very much for hearing me with patience. Thank you.
थैंक यू सर। और सर ने एक बेहतरीन ढंग से और एक ये बड़े जो पॉइंट सर ने उठाए हैं श्रीलंकन जो मलाल शेखर जी हैं उनके माध्यम से, गाइगर के माध्यम से, और कई सारी किताबों को भी सर काफी इन चीजों को हम लोग भी देखते हैं, परंतु ऐसी दृष्टि हम लोगों की जा नहीं पाती है वहाँ। जो सूक्ष्मेचिका से आपने उन चीजों तक हमें पहुंचा दिया, क्योंकि अभी हम लोगों ने सर आरंभ किया है, जॉब हम लोगों की आरंभ हुई है इस क्षेत्र में। तो महायान बुद्धिज्म का मैं विद्यार्थी हूँ बेसिकली।
वो कर सकते हैं, वो संस्कृत का एक भाग वो भी है कि व्हाई बुद्धिस्ट एडॉप्टेड संस्कृत एज देयर मीडियम। क्या कारण था कि संस्कृत उन्होंने पहले तो कहा था अनुजानामि भिक्खवे सकाय निरुक्तिया अपनी अपनी बोली में, फिर संस्कृत क्यों पकड़ ली? तो इस पर भी बड़ा अध्ययन हुआ है, कई तरह के मत हैं क्यों पकड़ ली। संस्कृत अंत में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण हो गई। सारा शास्त्र महायान के सारे सूत्र हैं हाइब्रिड में या मिक्स्ड में, शास्त्र विशुद्ध संस्कृत में, वो तो एक अलग विषय है, इसी से जुड़ा हुआ।
जी सर। तो सर का हम बहुत बहुत यहाँ धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करते हैं कि आपने अपने इतनी ये समय ऐसा रहता है कि एक सर ने इतनी उम्र होने के बाद भी 80 प्लस है सर, और प्रॉपरली उसको आधे घंटे से ज्यादा सर आपने यहाँ वक्तव्य दिया है और बड़े आराम से हम लोगों ने सुना है। सुष्मिता मैम हमारे बीच में है और मैम से मैं चाहूंगा कि मैम 2 शब्द जरूर इस बात पर रखें मैम। अनम्यूट कर लीजिएगा मैम।
अच्छा,
सुष्मिता मैम आप अनम्यूट कर लीजिए तब बोलिएगा।
हाँ हेलो।
जी मैम।
हेलो। हाँ हाँ हाँ। तो इन्होंने बताया है कि क्या पाली का पापा ने बताया है क्या प्रभाव पड़ा है संस्कृत बुद्धिस्ट संस्कृत की कई चीजों पर, माने ये व्याकरण पर क्या असर पड़ा है और पाली एवं प्राकृत दोनों का इस पर असर आया है। और बाद के साहित्य में उत्तरकालीन काव्य साहित्य में भी इसके प्रभाव को हम लोग देख सकते हैं। और यहाँ तक कि बताया कि पाली भाषा का भी संस्कृत पर प्रभाव पड़ा है और उसका अध्ययन अभी उज्जवल सर के द्वारा करना बाकी है और बाकी चीजें तो अभी बता दी गई है पापा के द्वारा। हालांकि मेरा क्षेत्र थोड़ा अलग है, बौद्ध इतिहास और जापानी बुद्धिज्म, जैपनीज बुद्धिज्म पे मैं काम कर रही हूँ। और हाँ, क्षेत्र पाली पर बहुत ज्यादा अध्ययन नहीं किया है, ज्यादा मेरा बौद्ध इतिहास और जापानी बुद्धिज्म पे काम कर रही हूँ मैं, मेरा स्पेशलाइजेशन है।
थैंक यू। हमारे बीच में जापान से वर्ल्ड बुद्धिस्ट मिशन के अध्यक्ष आदरणीय डॉक्टर